be saying farewell to the 125-gallon version of the Asian Stream Aquarium behind me. And normally farewells and tearing down tanks is a bad thing, but in this case, it's a good thing because these guys are moving to the 600-gallon. This is going to be the new 600-gallon Asian Stream Aquarium. Let me show you. Okay, the not yet quite completed 600-gallon aquarium. This is the new home of the Asian Stream Aquarium, and as you can tell, it is much bigger than where they're coming from. We're a full 4 feet front to back this direction. We are 6 feet in this direction, and we are a full 3 feet tall. So this is a whole lot deeper and a whole lot taller, and this is gonna really allow me to do some pretty cool stuff with the aquascape in here, as well as keep some more of the larger Asian community species, tropical community species, that really weren't appropriate for the 125. And then plus it's gonna allow me to do something again with the 125 that is more in scale in terms of an ecosystem tank with the 125. So I'm looking forward to all of that. Getting this up and going, moving them over here, and then the new scape for the 125. All right, let's get back over to the 125. Okay, so as you can see, the 600-gallon it's huge. It's 600 gallons. I'm definitely going to be able to do a much more advanced version of what I was able to do with the 125. The scape is going to be, it's going to allow me to do the scape how I intended. We're going to actually really be able to appreciate it in the larger tank, as well as it's going to allow me to keep some other fish that are appropriate to keep with these guys, but are larger and not really appropriate for the 125. Plus, like I said, now I get to redo the 125. So lots of good stuff coming, and looking forward to all that. But for right now, let's just take a last look at the 125 Asian Jungle Stream tank before it gets upgraded. Okay, one last look at the Asian Jungle Stream Aquarium before it gets broken down and turned into the new and improved 600-gallon Asian Jungle Stream Aquarium. This tank started off, well, actually let me start. This is was the third tank in the aquarium basement. It came behind the 265 in wall, and then the 3,000 gallon, and then this aquarium here. And it started off with a cancer filter. We then went on to make a custom sump for it, and it was also a lot of times used as my plant rehab tank. We then do well in other tanks. I'd bring them into here to get them back healed up and growing well again. So before we tear it down, before they move to their new bigger home, we'll take a look at 3 years of a tropical Asian community aquarium, Asian fish species community aquarium. Super enjoyable. It's been right next to my desk. This is one of the tanks I look at the most, and I have enjoyed the heck out of this tank, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting these guys into their new aquarium, because like I said, with a lot of my tanks, I wasn't really able to do what I wanted to do with the aquascape with only 18 inches front to back in the 125. So we definitely fixed that now with the 4 feet front to back in the 600 gallon, and they're both the same length, 6 feet. So in my opinion, 6 feet is a good length, especially for these community species. It's not bad at all. So we're just going to go deeper, and we're going to go taller, and I'm going to be able to do the scape that I was originally trying to do in this aquarium. And then we'll repurpose this aquarium for something more appropriate. I'll go with a much smaller scale to the aquascape so that it fits the 6 foot by 18 inches, 1.5 front to back footprint better than this did. I was trying to do more with this, like the river bank with some kind of like, I built up a couple areas like here. You probably can't even tell, like there's built up, and over here it's built up a little bit, but it really never had that effect. When you look at the tank, it always just kind of looks like a flat scape, and it doesn't, while there is space behind the wood and everything, you really can't appreciate it. It's just like it's not there. The fish go there, they disappear, they come back out, but you don't really see that transition. So what I'm going to be trying to do in the new improved version of this is make the transitions from the spaces in the front to the medium elevation, the higher elevation, and really bring the higher elevation all the way up in the aquarium, is to make that more satisfying in terms of watching the fish move from those different areas. So I think with the different spacing, I mean, just being so different, you know, going to a 4-foot front to back, I really feel like if I'm not able to achieve it, it's definitely my fault and not the aquarium's fault, because I should definitely be able to get the mental picture put into practice in the aquarium moving to that one. So normally a bad thing to say farewell to tear down an aquarium, but in this case, I think it's gonna, well, I know it's gonna be a good thing, because the 600 gallon with these guys, the new 125 gallon, or no, I gotta stop saying that, the 600 gallon Asian stream aquarium, I think is gonna be something else. And these guys are really gonna enjoy it. There's also some new fish that are appropriate for that aquarium coming, and they're definitely a fan. They're a crowd favorite, and they're one of my favorites as well. Give you a hint, they share the colors with the regular tiger barb, so it probably gives it away. But and they like to live in groups, and they get kind of big. So there's a group of those guys coming, and the aquarium, the 600 gallon, is going to be scaped from the get-go to accommodate those guys, to give them just what they like, to make them comfortable and give them the places to retreat to when they need to, so they'll feel comfortable to be out and about all the time, so we can enjoy them. All right, this is farewell to the 125 gallon version of the Asian Stream Tank. You know, I don't think a send-off for the 125 Asian Jungle Stream Tank would be appropriate without some underwater footage of these guys, so let's take a dive down into the aquarium. Down we go. You're gonna see here as I'm moving the camera through the aquarium that the transitions from the front of the open area of the tank, where the fish are all swimming, to the back there, you just kind of lose the fish. Like, the idea was that they would be coming going out of there, but you'd sort of see the fish swimming in and out in the transition, but it's just kind of all or nothing, and the space in the back, it's just hard to appreciate when you're viewing the tank, but it does take up probably more than half of the tank. And you see in the front there's just not a huge amount of space. Now, it's good for the fish. You can see them going in and out of everything. It did achieve that, and the fish are super comfortable in the aquarium. They always hang out front. They know they can dart back into any of these crevices or in the plants or whatnot. And it also works really well for sight breaks in the aquarium. You have a lot of fish here that you generally don't keep like this, because in smaller aquariums where they see each other, they're gonna fight, like the rainbow sharks. But you know, here there's 14 rainbow sharks in here, and there's no aggression at all, because they just have such dense territory within the aquarium. Same thing with all these barbs. Well, you're usually good keeping barbs with barbs. Here they tend to pair off in their own groups, because the sight lines are very short with all the plants, so they cluster up together. They don't bother the rasbora, the other fish that are, you know, a little more sensitive to, you know, the nature of barbs. And they also too, the rasbora and everybody else, they do group up. So there are some benefits to having the tank being kind of crowded with plants and everything, but you sort of see as we move to the right side of the tank where the, I always get the name wrong, but the pogo stenolot, that plant right there, it grows, you know, just crazy. I cut that thing back constantly, but it still just grows into a big bush. But here's the thing is, I love the way it looks. I love that plant. It just doesn't work in this tank. So that's what in a nutshell, that's what the 600 gallon is gonna solve. It's gonna allow me to have those plants, but in the back where they can grow 3 feet tall and massive, but not crowd the tank. And I can build an aquascape where you have a true low, medium, and high part of it with good open transitions where you can see the fish coming and going from the different areas, but they still have those different areas. And then lastly, the area in the front of the tank is going to accommodate, you know, larger fish schools swimming around when they're not right up against the glass. They're going to have more room for that while still having all the area in the back, you know, to hide or to move into the structure of the plants if they want to. And then lastly, you know, the 600 gallon is going to give us not only the ability to have larger schools of some of the fish I'm already keeping, but keeping some other fish in here, including some larger fish that fit the Asian Jungle Stream theme, and I think are going to be really, really cool additions. And then hopefully, like, we'll just have more, like, when you look lengthways down the tank, like right now, it's such a nice look. I think we're gonna have that in the 600 gallon. We're gonna have that nice look be not only lengthwise, but also front to back. We're gonna have that depth. So I think it's gonna have a similar kind of, you know, really nice view to it, you know, that the 125 has, but only has really when you're viewing it lengthwise. I think we're gonna have that both lengthwise and depthwise. And then, you know, all bets are off with the added height. There's just so much more added height that I don't know how that's gonna look, but I think it's gonna be great. Okay, just getting ready to feed the 125 Asian Jungle Stream Aquarium, and I realized we definitely can't say farewell to this tank without one last big feeding. So let's see the frenzy. That should get everybody up. No, it doesn't take much for these guys. They're all super strong eaters. And of course I had the the water flow kind of going the wrong way towards the skimmer. It would make much more sense to have it go in the other direction, and that will be happening when this aquarium is remade with the new plan for this aquarium. Definitely one of the things to correct. Of course, in my defense, when I first set this up, it had the canister, so it didn't have the skimmer over there, so that wasn't something I planned for. And when I added it on, that was the location that made the most sense. But what can you do? Always adjusting. Again, while we love the hobby, always adjustments, changes, evolutions of the tanks. Part of the fun. And just like that, they have pretty much demolished all the food. Yeah, so there was the Last Supper for the 125 Jungle Asian Stream Aquarium. Okay, it's the end of a 3-year era for this aquarium in the fish basement, but you know how I keep fish here at Aquarium in Maine. They come in here and they live here until they pass. So these guys, they're not going away. They're just getting upgraded to a much nicer abode. So really looking forward to the 600-gallon Asian Stream Aquarium debut. But in the meantime, this is it for the 125 Asian Stream tank. The end of an era, 3 years, great times. This is the one right next to my desk. I watch this one all the time. I enjoy the heck out of it. It was a very successful tank. I expect it to be successful in the 600-gallon as well. And you know, when something ends, something new starts. So look forward to new things coming to this aquarium pretty soon. But for now, let's get the 600-gallon Asian Stream tank up and get these guys into their new home. All right, thanks for watching.